Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another Looped In with Maritza. My name is Maritza Gertie, the Northeast Regional Organizer for the National Parents Union. And for those that do not know, I am also a mother of six, a foster parent of two, of one adopted child, parent, mother, wife, grandmother, sister, aunt, cousin, friend, god sister, and overall noisemaker in between. I'm very happy for those of you that have decided to share about an hour of your time today with me. I really appreciate you tuning in. Um, we have a few more days for El Mes de la Herencia Hispana, Hispanic Heritage Month. Please, for those that do not know, I'm Afro Latina. My family is from the Dominican Republic. I was born in the lovely city of Brooklyn in the state of New York, and I came through the wonderful city of Passaic, New Jersey, and I've made Philadelphia my home for the past 30 years. So that's enough about me. As you guys know, I often take the beginning portion of this program to just go over a few things, a few bits of information that I like to share for anyone that lives in the city of Philadelphia, around the city of Philadelphia, or even in the state of Pennsylvania. So a few things are going on around the city. I like to share that the Red Hope Project is having a toy drive now through November 15th. If you want to look up the Ray of Hope Project, Inc., or call 215-964-7627, Mr. Ray would be happy to talk to you. He's a nice gentleman. And if there's anything you want to donate to his toy drive, he'd be happy to accept the information gladly. The National Parents Union just recently launched their EPIC campaign, and this is to hold school boards accountable for how they spend the funding for our children. Don't forget, we're talking about $122 billion of federal money that is being spread across this country across the states to different school districts. And I honestly think that you should all be involved in part of the process to make your choices known. You should be given the respect and courtesy of being at that table, being at those meetings, especially when it comes to the needs of your children. So please go on to the National Parents Union website, click on the EPIC campaign, and see how you can be involved in this wonderful campaign to ensure that these monies are spent wisely and not wastefully. Every family votes. Across this country, there are several cities, states, municipalities, towns, townships that are going through the election processes, whether it is for your school board, whether it is for governor, whether it is for local legislators. If you want information, please make sure to go onto the National Parents Union website. You can click on the Every Family Votes campaign, and there you will find a toolkit that you can use that'll help you, give you the steps on how to become more involved in not only just presidential elections, but state elections, local elections, city elections. As I said, elections happen every 6 months in many areas. And I know that this coming November, there's going to be a lot of things going on in my state, in the state of Pennsylvania. So I'm hoping that you are also more civically minded and become more involved, regardless of what party affiliation you're part of, to become more civically engaged. It is your right to be able to vote and to be part of the process. So please make sure you check to see if you're eligible and if you are registered to vote. For those of you that have shown an interest in the National Parents Union fundraiser, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we are selling the National Parents Union shirts that indicates Latino children deserve education, not incarceration shirts. If you're interested, I'll be providing the link. It is from Custom Ink for you to then add to this fundraising cause. And I had, as I stated previously, and also for anyone that follows me, I've stated it on posts, that we also will make available the other options. The Our Children Deserve Education, Not Incarceration, as well as the Black Children Deserve Education, Not Incarceration shirts. So if you're interested, if you can't find the information, you can reach out to me and I'll be happy to send you the link. For those of you that are expressing interest in being a member, or if you're part of an organization that you feel would be a good collaboration to work with National Parents Union, go to nationalparentsunion.org. It is free. We are here to support all children, regardless of whatever education space you are a part of. It does not matter if your child is homeschooled, goes to cyber school, charter school, goes to a public district school, goes to a parochial school, private school. If you are a family that is really adamant about making sure that your child's education is quality education that everyone has access to, become a part of the National Parents Union, because with the more of us making sure that our needs get met, people are going to be listening and taking heed to the demands. In Philadelphia, family, the Philadelphia Home and School Council will be what's lurking behind your school doors. Now, this is very interesting. This was a small idea, brought by the crafty minds of the Philadelphia Home and School, Parents United for Public Education, students from the University of Pennsylvania, Weitzman School of Design, Philadelphia DSA, and other organizations from our city, our schools. It's going to be a day full of environmental photo masterpieces. They're going to show you in full color images of things that are lurking behind our schools. You're going to see pictures of what the mold looks like, the asbestos, the lead, the chip paint, the moldy, rotting, corroded pipes. You're going to get to see it. It's going to be an all-day thing. It will be happening at City Hall in Philadelphia from 10 to 6. I'll be at the City Hall apron. I will be adding to the chat the link for you to become more involved. Again, it's going to highlight concerns and conditions past and present that we painfully know plague our schools. And I'm quite sure if it's happening here, if you city or state that you know there are old buildings, it'll be the same kind of information that you're going to be seeing. They're going to show and visually show the pervasive health hazards, the imminent dangers that our children and staff face daily in those spaces. I will be there also as well. I will be speaking. I'm not sure yet as to what time, but I would love to see you there. Again, there's the link, and I'll also be adding that in the chat for anyone that is interested in attending. Parents Invincible from Camden, New Jersey is sponsoring a coat drive. They've been sponsoring it for the past month. The last day will be this Friday. Newly or gently used coats, hoodies, and jackets. If you're interested in making a donation, please reach out to Shirley Irizarry at 856-577-3493 or Jermaine Wilson. I'm so sorry I didn't get his number, but reach out to Shirley at Parents Invincible, and you will surely be able to go ahead and make a donation if you're in the South Jersey area. Yes, I believe that's it. So without further ado, I would like to bring on my guest today. I'm so excited because I've been trying to get him on here for a minute. So I'm going to allow this gentleman to introduce himself, and we will get into this conversation.
Hello. How you doing? What's going on?
Welcome. How are you? And please introduce yourself.
I am Curtis Valentine, as you can see, with Real Men Teach. Our organization is dedicated to recruiting and retaining male educators of color through reimagining and reinvesting education. I also serve as co-director of the Reinventing America Schools project. I'm also an adjunct professor of education policy at the University of Maryland. And lastly, I am a school board member. I serve on the Prince George's County Board of Education. I've been on the school board for 8 years. I'm in my third term. Our school district is the 20th largest district in the country. And so just really excited to be a policy maker, advocate, a teacher, and someone who's really trying to redefine teacher diversity through the Real Men Teach movement.
Wow. Well, I'm going to talk about how the first time I met you. The first time I met you was at the convening in New Orleans for the National Parents Union. And I was like, oh, this, you know, and if you remember, many of us didn't know a lot of us did, people did know each other, but many of us did not know each other. But it was such a powerful time to be together that a lot of people formed great connections that have withstood this entire time since the world got shut down 2 months afterwards. We still maintain communications. We found out how, you know, we live in a very big country, but the education space, especially for education advocacy, is not that big. So it was very refreshing and very wonderful to see that we know a lot of the same folks. I just told you before we came on the air. I mean, one of my childhood friends knows your beautiful wife, and she, you know, Maritza, you gonna be on? Who gonna be on your show? And I was like, oh yeah. So you never know, and I never knew. I never dawned on me that she,
you never know.
First.
Well, she probably, yeah. I come from an education family. As you mentioned, my wife is a principal. She's actually the principal of the only middle college in the state of Maryland that is actually on the campus of a community college. Wow. But to your point, I'm originally from New Jersey, and so you know, Jersey is a big. That. Oh yeah, I'm born and raised Exit 9, New Brunswick, Franklin Township Public Schools. I was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey. My mom's from Linden, Roselle. My dad's from Rahway. I'm in Jersey quite often. I send my kids up there so they can sort of get that Jersey accent as well. But you know, I'm Jersey boy. I was talking to someone not long ago from Trenton, and he's like, "You from Jersey?" I'm like, I could walk to Rutgers from my house, but I love New Jersey. Is what made me who I am, and that grit that comes from being Jersey and just being talked about. And so we got a permanent chip on our shoulders if you're from Jersey, because we used to people telling us we can't. So we just show you we can.
Oh my God! So you know about the state, New Jersey. So that's where I got some of my grit from, Passaic, New Jersey. Yes. That's our Sheree.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I remember that briefly from as people were getting to know each other. I was like, okay, Maryland, but from New Jersey. Okay. So, and that's the thing, when people find out, oh, you're from New Jersey, especially if you're from North Jersey, it's like we seem to gravitate towards each other and understand, especially if you came up in the same era, around the same age range. It's like, please leave me alone today.
And it's funny because it's funny because you know the first sort of New Jersey, and many people for the 80s and 90s when it comes to like education and movies, that Lean On Me movie, East Side High,
yes,
and like talk about education and sort of urban education and like Joe Clark, that's up in that neck of the woods. I had a friend whose sister went to East Side, sort of I think after Joe Clark had come and a lot of the change had happened. But that movie, for a lot of people, we still watch that and see. It's funny if you watch the beginning of the movie where it started, and then you have this transformation when Joe Clark goes down to elementary school or something, and comes back up, and he bring him back over, and his connection with the school board, with parents associations. It is a really good sort of conversation piece around education, parental engagement, school board policy, gentrification, white flight, standardized testing. You know, all those things are right there in that movie. In a 2-hour movie, you can kind of get a gist of some of the issues we're still dealing with, unfortunately, in education that we've yet to address because we have yet to really bring together all those stakeholders with a clear mission and vision for the future of education.
So talk to me about Real Men Teach, how that came about.
Real Men Teach it's funny, you know, we've been around for less than a year, which is for people who are like, wow, so I see it all over the place. But at the same time, like anything, they say it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. And so Real Men Teach, I guess you get started when I was a kid, and being a kid in New Jersey from a very small town, having men who were teachers, who were coaches, barbers, pastors, folks who were just in my life and what they meant to me, including my father. And then sort of going off to Morehouse College and being around just brothers, 100% all the time. And like, wow, this is what I wish everyone else had the same experience. And then I moved to Africa, and I'm like, okay, now I'm living in a village, no electricity or running water, very traditional, people living in grass, mud huts and stuff. And I'm like, I'm at the foundation now, and looking at the role of men in the community to really protect and preserve the community. And just fast forward, being my own educator, I was a middle school teacher here in my school district, and having that experience of being the only male educator of color, and having no one to talk to. And so when I became a school board member, I was like, what is the one thing I can do to really, improve education in my district? It was really teach it. How do we get more brothers into the school building? Because you look at the data, when you bring men of color into school buildings, it increases graduation rates. It reduces the number of students who are put in special education. It reduces underage pregnancy, and it increases standardized testing. I'm like, wow, that's all that sounds good. And so we started something called the Male Educator Network. We brought together men from my entire district. We had conversations about education. We had workshops, and we had award ceremonies. And we were able to demonstrate the power of celebration in order to really give brothers a sense of motivation, confirmation in the work they do, but validation as well. And so what Real Men Teach is a lot of what we learned from that experience is, let's celebrate and normalize positive images of men, and let's build a community, because in this space, it's still rare. Only 2% of educators in America are men of color. And so how do we change that? We change it through our campaign, Real Men Teach, which is a marketing and community branded movement of brothers from around the country, particularly Black and Latino men, saying that we stand for what Real Men Teach stands for, which is men who stand up in our community and take on the responsibility it takes to lead our community.
And a lot of people, Curtis, and it's funny because everything you just went over, you just took care of two of my questions. But a lot of people, and I had a conversation earlier today. I was for the first time meeting with a young lady from Western Pennsylvania, and she labeled herself a newbie in advocacy. Mm-hmm. And I said to her, my response to her when she said that, I said, first of all, are you a parent? And she's like, yes. I said, that's how old are your children? Lilo, please stop. Please stop. Go ahead. She always has to get the show. Go over there. Stop. Sorry. And when I asked her that, I said, you have been an advocate since your children were born. A lot of men in our communities, a lot of Black and brown men in our communities do not realize that they are also teachers. And for the half of my grown sons' lives, I was a single parent, but I always made sure to have them around male role models, whether it was their football coaches, whether it was their male teachers. Hell, it could have been the mailman they saw every day as an example of a person that's working every day. It could be that UPS driver or that Amazon or FedEx driver. It could be that crossing guard. Anyone that you see on that school custodian. It could be any Black or brown male figure that you see is a hard worker, is an example in this community. And a teacher, it's very hard. The obstacles now in this day and age for a young man, Black or brown man, that decides in high school, I want to be a teacher, they're facing so many obstacles. Mm-hmm. And I can give an example of one, the financial aspect of trying to pursue a post-secondary education in this country is hard. And it gets especially harder for our young people, anyone of color. It's very hard unless, their parents, have enough good credit to co-sign for a student loan. But what if they don't have good credit? What's going to happen with that? The pitfalls that can come from a young person signing loan documents without fully understanding what this will mean for them if for some reason they do not succeed or have at least a C, a standing C or better throughout their college career. What that could mean if they fail a class, you got to pay that money back. You could get grants and scholarships, but parts of it you still will have to come out of pocket. And not everyone comes from an affluent home or is able to get the scholarships. So what can you say to those aspiring young people? Can you please stop? Aspiring young people that are considering a career in education?
Well, I'll say this. One thing I'll say is you're going to be a teacher regardless of whether they call you one or not. If you're going to be a parent, if you're going to live in a community, if you're going to be around young people, you're a teacher. If you think about, if you would put together, not just even not just men of color, but any child of color in a community, and ask them, what's the best lesson you learned in life? And they'll and then the next question would be, where did you learn that lesson? I would bet all the money in my pocket, only a fraction would say I learned it in school in front of a chalkboard in the third row of so-and-so's science class. It's going to happen in the hallway. It's going to happen on a basketball court. It's going to happen on a street corner. It's going to happen in the bodega. It's going to happen at the Girl Scout meet. It's going to happen at the track club. And everyone in that space who's sitting down and say, hey, yeah, in Jersey, a young blood, let me hip you to something. Let me tell you this thing. That lesson in that space, that person is an educator.
Yes.
My son is 13 years old and he plays basketball, and we just got him a personal trainer. And I told the trainer, I said, this basketball thing, it's all good. If he doesn't go to NBA, no skin off my back. There's only a 1% chance that he goes to the NBA, but it's 100% chance that one day he's going to grow to be an adult. And so your job is part basketball, it's part what are you teaching my son while you're teaching him basketball? Accountability, hard work, integrity, never quitting, communication, advocate for yourself, stand up, look someone in the eye, be communicative, vocabulary. All that's happening while you were teaching my son basketball. And so when I'm interviewing coaches for my son, I'm thinking, you know what, sports is all good, but it's 100% chance he's going to be, a father, a husband, someone who's going to have to move into this world. And I guarantee you, when he's my age, he's gonna look back on you as his basketball coach and say, "This is why I'm doing this." This coach who's an entrepreneur who does training on his own. I decided to be an entrepreneur because of this guy. I decided to be a coach. I decided to work with young people. And it's so powerful to see, men moving. There's a really cool meme that's going around where you see a young person in the hallway sitting at his desk doing work, and the security guard is sitting with him doing the work. And I'm like, okay, the student's out in the hallway, probably got put out for one reason or another. Security guard's walking down the hallway, sees him, says, what are you doing? The kid who knows how he responded to him, but then says, all right, I can do that. Can I help you? In that space, this uncertified, uncredentialed security guard and that child may grow up to be a mathematician. And someone's going to say, hey, who taught you how to do your times table? Was it Miss So-and-so? Was it someone with a doctorate? Like, no, it was actually Mr. Johnny. Mr. Johnny? Who's Mr. Johnny? Mr. Johnny was a security guard who stopped in the hallway and gave me the science on how to do my math, to do my times tables. He was a teacher. No, he wasn't a teacher in a traditional sense, but everybody who steps foot in that school building. And I often challenge our school bus drivers because they're the first ones that see our children in the morning. And so when they get on the bus and say, hey, amazing, hey, future scientists, hey, hey, all that energy that's channeled as soon as you get on a bus is going to channel itself and manifest itself as they walk into the building and how they carry themselves out. The alternative is you get on the bus, having a bad day, school bus driver says, shut up, sit down, be quiet, don't say nothing, don't touch nothing, blah, 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 y'all young but don't know nothing. Whoa. You started me off in the hole, bruh. Can we start with some uplift? So we can at least
Yes.
move. And so everybody touches our children. So we say real men teach. There are 3 words on the hoodie. And just to your point, I'm going to square your whole point on the scholarship. Proceeds from what you see go to our scholarship. We are not a for-profit. So our goal is to create $1 million college fund. I call it the UNCF for Black and Latino male educators. I want to have enough money that it's never an obstacle. That someone says, one of your sons, my son's going to be a school teacher. I will go to my grave saying, if somebody says I had to become a school teacher, I couldn't afford to be one, is a tragedy beyond measure. And the amount of money it takes is not a lot. I'll give you a story. I'm talking to my superintendent about Black and Latino educators in our school district. And she said, Curtis, we offer Black and Latino male educators jobs. But in some instances, when we offer the job, the next step is for them to go to their college and get the transcript. They go to the college, and college says you can't have the transcript. Says why? Well, you owe $1,000 because your freshman year roommate borrowed some books and y'all didn't bring them back. And the guy says, I can't have my transcript because I owe $500, $700, $1,000. And people like us, a lot of us don't have $1,000 laying around. He wanted a job so he could make $1,000. And so you can't get a job. So as little as $1,000, little as $500 is keeping my children, your children away from a young brother who's going to come in and speak, uplift, empower them, give them a little bit of their own community, give their own experience, a firsthand connection to their own community. And that's a tragedy. And so our Real Men Teach gear goes to a fund that's going to be used to give scholarships to the very men that we're talking about. So so we say reinvest, we mean scholarships. And so that's incredibly important for us.
Oh my goodness. And when you, and I absolutely agree with what you were saying and giving the school bus driver example, because, the school that my children attend, the majority of the students are walkers. So it's children that walk to school. So because I have 3 little ones, I don't trust that they're going to make sure that they hold each other's hand along as my 2 walking to the school. I drive them, even though it's not even 5 minutes. And when, on our way there, I'm talking to them, everybody's going to have a good day. Everyone's going to be nice. Everyone's going to listen to their teacher. Mommy's not going to get a text. And they're like, yes, yes, yes. We play some music. They listen to some music in the car. And then as we're walking, because we make sure we talk to them, we're saying good morning to people. And I tell people good morning as you're walking past. I don't care if they look mean, if they look like they're having a bad day, you'd be surprised just because you say good morning. And even to the teachers, because I work at that school, I'm a little bit biased. I know all the teachers' names. So now my children are learning, oh, that's Mr. Treywick. That's Ms. Keys. That's Principal Bradley. That's Dean Fulton. They're knowing everyone's names, and it's funny. Even teachers need that pick me up. They're just getting to park their car. People, period. They need that good morning. How you doing? And seeing that smile from a little person towards them, it makes their day as well. I see parents look mean in school. Yeah, people, absolutely. So it's something else. And I tell them, you'd be surprised how you can brighten somebody's day just by saying good morning. How is everybody? Yep. And I mean, and I can't think of anything cuter than having, a 5-year-old smiling up in your face saying, good morning, Mr. So-and-so. I like what you're wearing today. And my children are like that. They do that. And I tell them, and they tell me all the time, your kids are always compliment and saying hi. And I said, you know what? Because they get that, we lead by example. So when they see me saying good morning, hello, how you doing to people, they emulate that.
And that's, we have to learn. We have to teach our children something called that social intelligence early on, like how you treat people. When you can you hear me?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay, like that's and so again, I was able to go to Morehouse College. I mentioned earlier, and most people who went to school with me understood. If you want something done, you get more bees with honey. And when it comes to communicating with people, have disposition, you think it's not always about being right. It's not always about sort of even being in power. It's just how are you doing? How's your day? And that's sort of just a level of being present with someone, seeing someone and saying, well, the person's having a bad day, and asking them how they're feeling. So I think a lot of us go through life as parents, and then our children see it. Because sometimes we're talking to our kids and we got our phones in our hand, right? And the kid's like,
yes.
mommy. Like, yeah, I see you. What's going on? How was your day? And then they start doing it. And then we're wondering, how come my child's not paying attention at dinner? Well, they saw mommy do it. They saw daddy do
That's
it.
Right.
And so we have to be present. And so I mentioned, so if you don't get a bus, maybe it's the crossing guard. Whoever that person is that sees our babies early on and sees them and says, I see a future scientist. I see a future lawyer. And they hear it over and over and over and over again. You're like, wow, maybe I can be an astronaut. Maybe this astronaut thing is not just a pie in the sky. I've been called, when I was in college, even in high school, we used to call each other doc, like doctor, like future doctor. Because that's what Dr. King called Dr. King called all his buddies doc. And so to this day, I see people, I call them doc, like, what do you mean, like doc, like Dr. J? Like, no, like doctor of optometry, doctor of history, doctor of humane letters, whatever that thing is, because you speak that into it, and then they'll walk in it. And so we come to Real Men Teach. It's about putting people around our children who are going to personify a lot of what you're saying in this. Be a stand-up person, be authentic. And so Real Men Teach, we say every word matters. So the first word, real, means can you be your authentic self? Don't put on for anybody. And so you see me wearing hoodies, right? You're like, what kind of, this guy wearing hoodie? Like, what's his background? What does he look? He's wearing sneakers and sometimes it takes us being able to say, can I be myself and still learn trigonometry, teach calculus, teach American history, teach African American history, and dress like this? Are you comfortable? I'm comfortable doing this. And the children look at me and say, wow, Mr. Valentine, you got a master's degree from Harvard and you wear hoodies? Yeah, bro, this is me.
That's right.
I'm being me. Right. I'm being me. You could be you. And so what does authentic mean? It's whatever you think it is. Whether you wear earrings or not, whether you comb your hair, whether your hair is bald or natural, whether you wear jewelry or not, be you, because when you're being you, you give students the license to be themselves and what they wear and how they carry themselves. And that's that men, we also talk about how do we take away this sort of feminizing the teaching profession. Only women do it, Yes. But no, manhood is associated with, and this is not necessarily about sexuality. We have our brothers from the gay community who say, hey, I don't define that's a gender and sexual preference are two different things. And so we say men, we saying all men and people who identify as men, you need to be in this space. And in the word teach, I mentioned earlier, we redefine the word teach and not limit it to classroom teachers, but say everyone who touches our children is a teacher. And so if you touch young people, if you feel this, but also you're an ally. And so I appreciate you coming through with your Real Men Teach shirt saying, I'm a woman who stands for the mission of this. And so if you're an ally, you don't have to be Black or Latino. You could be white, you could be a woman, you could be someone who doesn't identify, but you can support and stand up with this movement.
Oh, absolutely. When I wore my shirt, I was actually in an area of a suburb of Philadelphia. I was out by King of Prussia. I was visiting a family member. She just moved into a mainly seniors apartment complex. And my husband and I were walking in the hallway going to her door. And this older white couple walked past us. And, we greeted, good afternoon. And I overhear the wife telling the husband, I like what her shirt says. And he's like, what does it say? She said, it says Real Men Teach. And that, it made me smile. I was like, yeah, So I know exactly what you're talking about. People reading it, even what I'm wearing now, liberating education, as that's for the Center for Black Educator, Development. Anything that makes you think and it's bold right there in your face is a positive thing. Curtis, talk to us a little bit about how your experience has been being on the Board of Education in Prince George County. Now, was this appointed or elected?
This is so I'm an appointed member of the board by the county council, and so we have a hybrid board. We have 9 elected, and we have 4 appointed. Of the 4 appointed, we're appointed by 2 different bodies. So there are 3 who are appointed by the county executive, or sort of like the highest ranking official. And then there's 1 person who is appointed by the county council, and that person by law has to be a parent of a child in the school system. So here's the interesting thing. When I joined the board, there were 9 members of the school board. This is before it went hybrid. At the time, there were no members of the school board that had any children in the school system. Let me say it again. We had 9 elected school board members, and none of them had children in the school system. And people were saying, how can you have a school board with no one whose child is in the school system? And so they said, we're going to put it in the law. You got to have at least one person who got a child in the school system. And so my son Curtis might have been, he's 13 now. He was 5. My daughter was 3. And so when you are a member of the school board and your children are in the school, you get a daily feedback loop of, Dad, the school lunches are terrible. Dad, we take too much tests. Dad, this online learning thing ain't working. Dad, ladies, we got too many substitute teachers, and, all the different things you hear that you think are cool policy, when it comes down to the classroom, or at least how it's interpreted by school leaders and school educators. And so that's the point. Okay, well, what you're getting is not what I wanted to have. And so let's happen. And some got lost in translation. So how do I fix that process? And then you got a wife. My wife is principal. And so she's in my ear, hey, I don't know what y'all trying to do, but that ain't going to work. I don't know what y'all trying to do, but they tried that already and it didn't work. Or that costs way more money, y'all. And so I'm getting it from my wife. Yes. I'm getting it from my kids. I get it from all the other male educators who I rock with, who give me feedback. And so this is something that, as a board member, I'm listening to different constituencies. I have obviously a clear understanding of the limits, financial limitations, but all the groups that are advocating. And so the thing we have to be mindful of, there's some groups that are more organized than others. And and organizing is incredibly important. But I'll say specifically to you mentioned, Latin American, Hispanic Heritage Month. Our Latino community needs just as much as any other community, but they're not as organized. And so it's incumbent upon us to say, okay, we can't simply respond to the loudest, even though there's merit in that. What are some groups that aren't as organized, but are just as important? Because maybe their parents aren't organized, but we know the student. And so we have discussion about equity, even in a district where you have about 35% of our students are Latino, about 55 or so, 60% are Black, and then another are white. And so we have to say, are our Latino students getting what they need? And I have a big, my concern now is we don't have enough Latino male educators. And so it's a very big push. How do we get more Latino educators? I'm the African American. I can see the need for my son, but I also know that our young Latino boys and girls need to see people who look like them as well. And so that has to be a push by groups like Male Mentees. So unlike a lot of groups, we're not limited to Black men. We are saying we want, particularly Latino, but also Asian men, because we want to see and it's also, when you have a Latino educator, it's not just for the Latinos. My daughter needs to see Latino educator. I don't want to be 20 years from now and someone says, how many Latino educators do y'all have? And my son writing the Facebook post 0. My daughter says 0. Because that'll be right now to do with Black teachers. That'll be the thing 5 years from now. How many Latino educators did you have?
Absolutely
none. That's terrible.
Absolutely. That's why this morning it was funny. This morning I saw one of the Latino educators in our school, and I was like, "Hey, Mr. Diaz," and he's like, "Hey, Miss Gertie," and my son Trevella's like, "He's a teacher at our school, mommy," and I said, "Yes, but he teaches the older kids." So the hope is that by the time you get to his grade that he teaches, that he's still here. So what advice would you give? And this is a loaded question. I'm sorry, but I got to be me. What advice would you give to these teachers that are at their rope's end right now, dealing with all of the trauma that their students are bringing into the school building after having been home for well over a year, and dealing with everything that happened in their home environment and bringing all those emotions and the traumas and all that? Because I see it. I'm seeing it all the time. I'm constantly of people that are saying that they're leaving the teaching profession, but we need to stay. And we want them to stay. You know, parents want them to stay. What do you say as an educator to those teachers? And what can parents do? What can parents say to these teachers to convince them to stay?
Well, there's a couple of things. I would say teacher to teacher is incredibly important. And so we have to form community amongst teachers. Again, when you're, and I've taught 8th grade language arts, I mentioned I'm the only, there were no parents. When I joined the board, there was no one on the school board who had ever taught in Prince George's County Public School. And so to this day, I've been on the school board for 8 years. I've had over 30 colleagues. I'm still the only one who's ever taught in our school system. And so when you're a teacher, to understand, oftentimes you feel like you're on an island. This is your classroom, you decorate it, kids come in and out. You may talk to your colleagues during lunch, in the hallway, but you never really, it's hard to build that community. You get up, you go home after work, you trying to get home, your kids soccer practice, dance, swim class, you want to get home, make dinner, whatever. We have to form community amongst our educators. And this is what middle teachers also trying to do. I want to form community in your school building, in your school district, in your state, and in the country. We have people who buy the hoodie and be like, you know what? Kurt, I feel connected with Maritza now. She's halfway across the country, but because she's representing this, her and I are part of the same tribe now. Absolutely. And people say, well, Kurt, man, I love Granite because now I'm a part of the community. I feel seen. I feel part, because when you isolate yourself and you feel alone, all this is harder. You can't serve young people when you feel like yourself. You're going through depression and anxiety and detachment. You can't pour into children when your cup is empty.
That's right.
How do you fill your cup? You have to fill your cup through community with one another. The other thing when it comes to, that's the teacher-to-teacher connection.
Yes.
Teacher-to-student connection is, for me, it's a level of transparency. So I mentioned I'm an educator, and so I talk a lot about education, but I teach, juniors and seniors in college. And, it's not K-12, but these students, they 2 years out of college, out of high school. And I start off every class with very open conversations about what I'm going through, what the world's going through. So I'm very transparent. Like, I'm not feeling very well. I had a bad weekend. This is not working for me. And so when you release that to them, now I become more of a human to you, not just a machine that talks about information. And so when I talk to my children, it's funny. My children, trying to teach them about being kind, and my children are, maybe rude to me. I'll say, "Did you mean to hurt my feelings?" And my kids would be like, "No." I said, "Well, you did." And they're like, "Wow, Dad, like you're not just a dad, like you're a person with feelings." Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so when our students know that our teachers are people with feelings, who have bad days, who have anxiety, who have depression, who have fear of suicide, like teachers commit suicide all the time. Once students see that, their vulnerability level to talk and have these conversations, it's just a different talk. When everyone's sort of talking to like the hard student who's like super, I don't need nobody, you don't need me. And then the teacher's like, I don't need you, and so y'all both like hard, but at the same time, y'all are very like, you know what, just need help. How are you? Mm-hmm. I know I can't hug you, but I need a hug. Yes. I'm not feeling well. I lost my mom to COVID. My son is this. My daughter's that. My husband's this. I lost a family member. But kids respond. When kids find out that a teacher is at a funeral or sick, kids do posters and cards, unsolicited. No one says, we should do a card for Mr. Johnson in the hospital. No, you don't. Yes. You don't have to tell us to do that. We're going to do it because we have feelings and emotions. But if we don't know Mr. Johnson's not doing well, we can't, and vice versa. Students have to be able to talk and have a space to communicate when they're having a bad day. So my students, I'd say, if you don't come to class, that's fine. Just give me a heads up. And my students would say, Professor Valentine, I'm having a bad day. Something happened at work. I'm not in a good. I don't need you running the campus and sitting in my class for 2 hours when you're in a bad. That does me none and does you none. Yeah. But what I can say is, I hope you feel better. Here are the class notes. Let me give you some grace. Give me some grace when I'm not my best. And let's have this because we're both human beings having this experience at the same time. We're all living through COVID in a crisis, not just the teachers. And so be graceful to parents, teachers. Parents, be graceful to teachers, students, teachers, and vice. Let's get grace to everybody.
Yes. Something that, because I don't know if I didn't get a chance to tell you, I worked at my children's school last year. I was a school secretary. Mm-hmm. So I saw a lot. I was on the fence. I saw a lot of things as a parent. I saw a lot of things as an employee of the district. And then, also being an education advocate, the only thing that concerned me one time was that I was told that I'm spending too much time listening to the parents. And when that was said to me, it bothered me. It bothered me because to have someone in administration tell me that, oh, Miss Gertie, you're taking too long listening to the parents. I'm like, well, then what the hell am I here for? I mean, the secretary is the first line of defense for the school. Male or female secretary. That is the person that knows the ins and outs. That is the person that knows who showed up for school. That is the person that's doing payroll. That is the person that is going to take that phone call or make that phone call to a parent, take a phone call from a parent, take the brunt of the frustration of a parent that doesn't understand what's going on. Regardless of what kind of day the secretary's having, they have to be Switzerland as much as possible to be able to take the information or give the information and then relay that information to whoever needs to get it after that. So I even now, I mean, I go up there and I want to do so much, but I know that I can't. So I'm trying to stay in my lane. So I keep on asking them, when are you going to have a parent meeting? When are you going to have a parent meeting? When is it going to be planned? In my role as National Parents Union, regional organizer, I'll help. But just as a parent, I want to help. So help me help you. Because a lot of times the parents don't understand. They don't know. They don't feel that they're getting communication. They don't feel that there's transparency from their schools. And, the only way to be able to create that level of trust is if admins from schools open their doors to the parents and guardians of those students.
But Maritza, let me say this. It's about, so they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. What you were doing in that space, you were in that school, the press secretary. The two most important people in the administration is Joe Biden and the press secretary. She's in front of the news every single day for an hour and a half.
Yes.
And they'll say, what does the president think about so-and-so? And she said, she got to answer questions, on behalf of the administration, but she's hearing from the news as well. And so when you are coming in, the principal should have you geared with everything you need to present what's happening in the school lunches, back to school night, school play, sports program, testing, after school tutoring. So you should be able to go, hold on one second. Let me go find someone to help you out. No. I'm Maritza. I'm actually I'm a school press secretary. But so that's sort of you, school to community, and saving the principal a bunch of. My wife makes sure that her folks in the front of her school know everything, because that's keeping them off her plate. Like Curtis, I don't want to have to. That helps it, but at the same time, it's also preventative. So now you can go back to your principal saying, I've got a bunch of parents asking about this. Now, I got 5 parents today. I can have 50 parents by next week if we don't figure this thing out. And
That's
so
right.
I need to be in the strategies on how are we getting ahead of after school tutoring, school lunches, busting, because it's whether it be different analogy, the canary in the coal mine, the tip of the iceberg, whatever you want to call it. There's nothing that really comes to educators that's much of a surprise. It's always like, I didn't think it was a problem until it became a problem. But we've been hearing about this from parents, the community for years, but yet it just, because we delayed and we kept delaying, we had to deal with. And so I implore school leaders, make sure that the first person they greet, most likely is going to be someone at the front desk, has all the information about what's going on, but you're also listening to that person to say, how are we using our budgeting monies to make sure that, because I'm hearing parents come in saying, you know, this is not working, this is not working, this is not working. And there's never, you know, too much listening to parents, because it can help you. Don't look at it as like a time away from stapling and making copies. It's like, you're going to say, I'm going to save you time a week from now, a month from now, from all the stuff I'm going to keep, all the firestorms you're going to have to see because you're not listening to parents now.
It's true. That is so true. So when you say, and I want you to reach out to me about this, when I heard you say that you don't see enough organizing amongst Latino parents in you know, in the DMV, in the area where you work, where you know you're part of the board of education, let me know, because I'll be happy to come out there. I'll be happy to come out there and speak to families, because I got the same I got the same kind of shocking realization when I went to the Pennsylvania Latino Convention, which was held in Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm not familiar with Reading or Pittsburgh or Harrisburg or Allentown, anything on that side of PA. I'm not that familiar yet. But when I was speaking to people and getting to know people, there's a definite need. And they would tell me, they were like, no, there are not enough. There are not enough teachers of color. One lady was telling me that there's not one teacher of color at the schools in the district she is a part of in Western Pennsylvania. But the families, especially the migrant families, the migrant farmers that do not speak English, that may only know Spanish, they get no help. So I was sitting there like mind blown, but also further energized, sure that I go out there and I let people know you have somebody to support you. You have a person, you have an organization that can support you with your needs, and so that you can then have the tools that you need to make demands of your school district. Because that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand how much power they have within themselves to speak and advocate.
Yeah, so, I mean, representation matters. I mean, and it's not, I mean, it's African Americans, it's Latino, it's Native Americans.
Yes.
You know, I went to Massachusetts for vacation, and I was on like a reservation. And you kind of go and and I was talking to, and actually I think I might have had a Real Men t-shirt on or something. And someone asked me about it, and I said diversity in teaching. And she says, on this entire island in Massachusetts, in our school district, we don't have one Native American teacher. Now they have a community of Native Americans. And I'm thinking, so she's like, who is teaching our students about Native American history in Massachusetts if no teachers? Now there is a community there, but they're not being recruited and retained and trained to teach. And so this is why this is incredibly important, that representation matters to young people, and organizing, and just understand. So, and where I'm at, we have our Latino community is mostly from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. But I grew up in Jersey, where everything was like, Dominican and Puerto Rican. I never met anybody from Central America. But that experience is different, and we have to understand, how to support them and advocate for them. But we have something called Casa de Maryland. They're a group that really advocates for the Latino community, and some elected officials, a few, and our student members. So we have a member of our school board who's a student in our district. And he is from El Salvador. And so having him on the board is incredibly important, because he's talking about his colleague and other students like him and their experience. A great student, a huge advocate for our system, but we need more representation because it's important that everyone has a voice.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe time has flown by. I could talk to you for hours.
I'm saying, what's up? We're gonna roll. We might as well just keep on, take on a road, pop up in some city, and just organize around people from Jersey. They say Jersey around the world. But listen, I mean, I think I love the energy. I see, I follow you on social media. I'm a huge fan of the work you do. I admire everything you've done. You supported Real Men Teach like you did. And if I can be helpful in any single way as a brother, please don't hesitate to ask. That's the one thing I think that keeps us from being successful as a community is we're always like, well, I don't know. And I don't like, you know what? Stop that. Don't do
That's
that.
Right.
We,
That's right.
Because in the end, it's about the babies. And I don't speak on behalf of saying, because, I'm comfortable where I'm at, but for the babies who don't have that and for the parents who don't have, I'm all open and I'm willing to give what I can for others.
Oh my goodness. And you just inspired me. I'm going to place an order for some Real Men Teach hoodies. And I'm gonna gift them to some of our Black male teachers at my school. So I'm gonna be like, "What's your size?" Why do you want to know, Miss Gertie? Don't worry about it. What's your size? So that's all, because they know I like surprising the teachers. I like surprising them. I'm the kind of parent that, because I love assets, stakeholders. Schools will be surprised, and this is going to be quick. Schools will be surprised to know that if they have a conversation with their parents and guardians, the assets that they have within that school community. So, like in my school, they know Miss Gertie cooks. Miss Gertie cooks. Miss Gertie is known to bring, some stuffed meatballs, some ziti, some empanadas, some arroz con guandules. They've seen it. They know it. And they know it's coming. I said, I've been a little busy, but it's coming. So they don't know how many of our parents are pastry chefs, are seamstresses, are barbers, are electricians, not just professional, some of them are caseworkers, some of them are counselors, some of them are doctors. You never know. Unless you talk to the parents, unless you find out from them. Those same people that speak another language could go into the school and teach the students another language.
That's called asset based development. And that's what I learned living in Africa, where you go into a community and you don't start talking about anything until you find out what you have. And so you literally bring everybody in and you throw up on a wall. You say, how many languages are spoken? All the languages, skills, like as you said, geography, partners, and you throw it all up on the board. And when you look at it, you're like, wow, hold up, we got 13 languages. We got skills all the place. We got people who got landscaping. We got people. We are graduating cutting a week. We got people who do all these different things. Motivational speakers. And from there, you realize, you know what? We're all we need.
That's it.
We need.
You can create your own resource guide just based on the assets of the talents of the parents and guardians of the students that attend your school.
Yep. Asset based. What do you have already?
So if you need something, someone that loves making shirts. Oh, did you know that so-and-so's mom, that's what she does on the side? She makes nice graphic shirts. We need some for the next whatever's going on at the school. Why don't we, help her out?
But guess what? She's waiting for the phone call. She's waiting for the phone call. She's like, they never call me. They never ask. Now people are busy. No, we want people to volunteer. That's fine. People are busy. Some people say, they need a phone call, and give them a chance to say, not this time, next time.
Yes.
Before we go, I mentioned, I post a lot about my family history education going back hundreds of years. And I've done my own lineage.
Yes.
And I love people talking about Black girl magic and Black entrepreneurship. I want to shout out my great aunt Lorraine Valentine, who was the school caterer for a school my great grandparents started 100 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
And she made the school lunches. She was a caterer. She made the school lunches. She eventually pivoted that into her own restaurant. This is in the 60s, 70s. This is not like so. And then my great uncle, which is my great grandfather's son, started a bus company from the school and put 9 kids through college, and the kids drove the bus, kept it all in the family. We can do this on our own. We don't have to beg anybody for anything. We don't have to go out and sort of look out at community and can someone come in and do a workshop on so-and-so? Can someone else come in? We got parents who could talk about the very issues you want to talk about from a perspective that you don't have to translate. This is like, I'm from this community.
Yes.
Someone say, I went to this school. I graduated from this school. I know what's going on. I want to help. And so Real Men Teach says our community is a village. Mm-hmm. Let the village raise up the babies, whether it be the bus driver, the janitor, the custodian, the lunch lady, the barber, the beautician, the shop owner, the guy who rides dirt bikes down the middle of the road at 1 a.m. and get up the next morning and be right there on the corner. We acknowledge you. We appreciate you. It is all hands on deck. Let's go.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, Curtis! You know you coming back. You know you coming back. You know that, right?
Let's do it.
Coming back.
Hey, you said, Curtis, when you come, I said, when am I get an invite? I said, I'm not cool enough to get the invite. And you said next week. I said, write it down.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And I thank you so much for that. And I mean, and I've been blessed with that. I've been blessed that I've been able to reach out to many people. And all it was is when you need me. And you're exactly one of those folks that I appreciate it so much. I'll be up in the DMV very soon with my little 6. I would love to meet your family.
Now, please, let's do it. But when you become the next Oprah Winfrey, just don't forget about me now. Just don't be on there. Don't be at the Emmys. Have your little talk show. You on CNN. You on CNN out here doing your own shows on the own network. I'm just like, I knew her. She said she's gonna put me on. She ain't put me on. Now I gotta talk to her assistant, her booker. They had a booker saying I ain't got enough followers and I gotta get my followers up. I'm out here. You know what? Man, she's Passaic. Passaic ain't changed. Passaic ain't changed.
Passaic is hard. Passaic is why everywhere you can go to every state in this country. You can go to several countries and you will find people from Passaic, New Jersey. When I went to that Latino convention, the DJ was like, "Holla out where you from? Holla out where you from?" And there was this young lady at my table. She was like, "Jersey," and her friend was like, "Yeah, she's from Passaic." And I turned around and said, "What? We know the same people." So you never know. You never know. Thank you so very much, sir. If you want to hang out a little bit in the green room for when I'm done, that's fine. If not, thank you. We will speak very soon.
Thank you for having me. Go to realmenteach.com to support our work. You could get you a hoodie. We now have a jobs board. If you're a young man of color looking for a role in education, go to our jobs board. Actually, if you do get a hoodie, let us know because we could profile you. So, Mr. Let me know the young men that you buy that hoodie for. Make sure they send me pictures. We want to put them back out into the world and normalize positive image of men in education. Saying, you know what, this is what it looked like. And so we have middle school, high school students say, I don't know if I want to be a teacher. I got too much swag, and I'm like, no, bro. We got swag too, bro. Come on, man. These are going to be middle school educators that I'm going to be gifting these to. So then you're going to be like, they deal with K through 8 babies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you. You too. Family. Thank you so very, very much for tuning in. This is Maritza Gertie. This is not stopping. I made a choice to just to give myself some time and to give, whoever I ask to be a guest some time. I'm going to move my platform to just every 2 weeks, unless it's something truly amazing and powerful to be sent out there. So I will not be broadcasting this week because I'll be traveling to the beautiful state of New York and be part of the New York State Charter Schools Conference. So if there are any educators there that work for a charter company in the state of New York, I'll be there and I'll be happy to meet you and talk to you. A nice conversation. For everyone else, please enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Please stay safe. Wear your mask if you are not home or with close family or friends that are in what's considered a safe bubble. If you need to reach me, there is my email, maritza@npunion.org. Again, if you want to be a member of the National Parents Union, all you'll need to do is look up National Parents Union, www.nationalparentsunion.org. There is a quick 3-minute questionnaire. It is free to become a member. If you are part of an organization
that you feel would be a good fit to collaborate with, partner with, become an ally with the National Parents Union, there's also an organizational link attached. So please, thank you for being part of my little program with Maritza. If you have an idea, or if there's someone you'd like to see me have a conversation with, send me an email. If you want more information regarding National Parents Union, please send an email to info@npunion.org. Thank you so very much to all of you. Have a wonderful of your week. Once again, this Friday will end the month of Hispanic Heritage Month, el mes de Hispanidad Latina, de herencia hispana. It does not matter. All of us have talents. All of us are assets in our communities, in our homes, in our children's schools. Do not be afraid to speak your mind and ask questions about what is happening with our future citizens, our future caretakers' education. Thank you very much.